Welcome back. We just had Christian Velez on a week ago for continuity's sake. But yes, this is Nicole Vawser, and she is a Omaha actress. But I'll let you introduce yourself because, I mean, technically I don't really know you all that much.
Yeah, I literally just met you guys.
Yeah. That's how it works.
My name's Nicole Vawser. I started off an actor, but I really want to do is write and direct. I went to Wesleyan University, started off as an acting major, and then I was like, whoa, this shit is hard. It's hard to make a career out of acting, so I got into doing more of the behind-the-scenes work. And after I graduated, I started getting into the local film scene, and I used my acting skills to get a foot in the door with local film people so that, you know, down the road, they'll know me, know my work ethic, and hopefully want to work on my projects in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah, because you co-directed with...
Caden By,
yes. I was thinking Christian. Caden By, yeah. So that whole experience, so that's kind of one of the first questions is kind of walk through, like, how did that come to be, that the starting of that feature and just, like, start to finish? Like, was that 2 years ago that you guys kind of thought this up, or was it like a recent thing and you're like, let's just get on this? And
it was kind of like a let's just jump on this type of thing. So Single Day started off as a short film that a year ago Caden approached me about wanting me to co-write and co-direct it with him, and he was kind of going for like a Groundhog's Day type vibe with this day that's just repeating itself, but it's not actually the same day happening over and over. It's just this character who's grieving and who's going through the same routine every single day because he can't let go. And so as we started like diving into the characters more, as we wrote and like started just chugging out pages on the script, we were like, yeah, this is gonna be a feature.
Yeah. It's gonna be long form, yeah. It was cool to watch it just obviously it's like it was in a theater, so it was cool, but then too, just obviously knowing Lincoln and knowing Omaha, seeing those shots, because there's a few times we sat up top and there's a handful of times I was like, I know where that's at.
Yeah, right?
You drove me to that spot.
Yeah, I drove him. I was like, this is the scene where he was like standing on the parking garage. I was like, it was right here.
So it was the parking garage above Parliament.
Yep, right over there.
I don't know what that means, but
I'll show you later.
I'll believe you.
Yeah, field trip.
You'll believe me, but so yeah. So are you still going to school then? Or are you out of?
I have been out of school for 2 years.
Oh, you
now.
have been? Okay.
Yeah, I graduated early because of COVID. It wasn't. I was originally a theater person before I got into film, and so after COVID happened, the spring semester of my junior year, I was like, man, I'm not gonna spend that much money to not be able to like get performance experience at school, you know. And I had taken enough summer classes and built up enough credits that I was able to graduate a semester early and save myself like $12,000. Ooh.
That's this guy's dream.
Yeah.
No. Where were you?
Early?
No, saving money.
Saving money.
You were probably thinking about it, but okay, yeah. So what's the current what's kind of your next thing? I don't know if you literally just got done with that or premiered that, but is there okay, are you content for a month just chilling, or are you like, I'm already on to the next, like, excited for whatever you're doing?
I try to give myself space to chill, like, in between projects, because I work as a bartender, and I work full-time as a bartender, and it takes up, it's nice because it's flexible enough that I can take time off to do films and stuff, but I still have to commit certain time, like, especially around the holidays, to my work when we're busy. But so after we wrapped Nervous Records mid-November, and then Jesse Eastman asked me to direct a short film in late January, early February. So we've been in pre-production for that. It's a horror comedy. That's all I'll say about it. Jesse wrote it, so it's good if you guys know Jesse Eastman at all.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. That'll be cool to see come out. Do you know Jesse?
No, not personally.
You know of him.
Yeah, he messaged me the other day. We've been kind of going back and forth. But
I really enjoyed working with him on Nervous Records. I'm excited to see that one.
Were you crew or act?
I did. I had my fingers dipped into everything in that. I started off. He just cast me as like a side character that was in like 2 episodes, And then he heard about like Single Day, knew I had like directing and writing experience, and he asked me to be his assistant director. And then after, working as assistant director for a little bit, he asked me to direct an episode. So one of the episodes is directed by me. And I also did the costume design for several characters.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Because that was a pretty big shoot, because it's how many episodes?
We shot for 2.5 months on that project.
Wow.
It's an 8-episode series.
I'm excited to see that.
I've been seeing like the stills and stuff from that. Yeah.
Yeah, Chance does a really good job with his cinematography, and it is so fun that like the next day after a shoot, we already get to see some of the stills.
Yeah.
Like he kicks butt. He works hard.
This guy, you need to get on that.
Yeah.
he's a one-man
He's making
band,
a list of people to interview now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what got you into everything? So, actually, before I ask you that,
Okay.
Because I skipped the question. What's your goal? Like, do you want to do this full time, and then where do you want to end up? Is it the quote unquote new gen of Hollywood, which is Austin, or do you want to go to Hollywood, or do you want to venture to New York, or is it here, or?
I do get asked that question a lot because, actor, film, all that good stuff. And I've been to LA and I didn't really like it for a lot of reasons. I've never been to New York, but I've heard it's a lot like LA, and if I didn't like LA, why would I go to New York? But I'm honestly, at least for right now, I'm really happy in Nebraska. I'm really happy with the opportunities that I've gotten here in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really cool to try and grow the film scene here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is to an extent. Like, I feel like it's small enough. Like, we kind of all know who's doing stuff around here. So that's cool. Where actually are you from? Are you from?
I'm Omaha born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Millard West.
Okay. Yeah. Did you graduate in 16 or 17?
17.
Okay. Right on.
What about you guys?
I'm 17. He's 16.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I'm 24.
I'm 18 years old, but yes. So yeah, this guy always with the quips. Thank you. But yeah. So what's the next up then? Are you like, so you want to stay in Omaha and grow it here? What's that kind of look like?
I have several screenplays that I've written that are like starting to get into their final draft form. And so like kind of the 5-year plan is to try and get a couple of those shot and produced, they're features.
Okay.
Yes. I have been called a rabbit writer. So the challenge for me right now is learning where I can like trim the fat, because I'm so attached to some of my writing that, sometimes it's hard for me to like get rid of stuff that is maybe not necessary. In a screenplay, it should be more about what you're showing them versus what you're telling them. And I think as a writer, I get hung up a little bit on what I want to tell them. Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of trying to hone right now.
What are you writing about? Like, what do you...
I like to write dramas, stuff about people going through really emotional things, which, I mean, you could tell from A Single Day.
Yeah.
But so one of the projects, probably the one that's in its closest to the most complete form, is a screenplay that I wrote called Young and Menace, which I named after the Fall Out Boy song because I listened to a lot of Fall Out Boy while I was writing this script. And I actually wrote it for my senior thesis in college, and it's about twin brothers. It's a little bit of a stereotypical high school type of vibe, but basically tragedy strikes and they have to deal with like the consequences.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. So, have you submitted any of your guys, your personal work, or like, do you guys submit to the like Omaha film festivals or like local film festivals?
Yeah. So, Psycho Money was at Flatwater Film Festival this year, and then there was a preview of Single Day. So the first 25 minutes also played at Flatwater.
Okay.
But and then we also, me, Jesse Eastman, Caden Bai, Megan Mills, Christian Velez, and a couple other people submitted a 40-hour film challenge to the Omaha Film Festival. And it was fun. We didn't get anything, but it was still like a really cool experience because I'd never done the 48-hour challenge before. But other than that, not a lot of festival stuff going on quite yet.
Yeah. How do you feel like you grow? Because that is something I've been interested in. Is just as I don't know. You obviously you want to be in Hollywood because you got the studio cities, like and all that stuff. But it's like, how do you
funding?
Yes.
Funding is so important. But the reason that I really love local film, Nebraska film, is that we're not doing it for the money. Yeah. You know, out in Hollywood, it's a lot about trying to make a profit. But I love the passion projects. You know, stuff that people make just because they love making movies.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
I mean, cause I'm in LA. I'm going to school out there. I kind of had that mindset going out there as people just wanted paid opportunities, like actors. But you'd be surprised, because I don't know, the majority of things that actors are seeing are student films, and that's almost always non-paid. So it is actually, I don't know, I feel like a pretty good atmosphere out there as well. You just got to find the right people, of course. But yeah, just people want to make films all the time. That's just what.
That's why people go there. Yeah. People want to make movies.
But versus here in Omaha, or just Nebraska. It's so much easier to shoot stuff here.
Yeah.
So much easier. Because I have a friend at school who's from Kansas who we both relate on just trying to shoot at a bar in Kearney, a bar in Kearney, and I don't. When I ask them, I'm just yeah, can I shoot there? And you maybe got to talk them up a little bit. But then you go to in LA, you call the bar, yeah, $1,000 a day. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, it's just it's automatically. It's yeah, sure. I mean, it's $1,000 a day, but
that's kind of the toxicity of it out there. When you were talking about your thesis, that one guy was 350 an hour or something.
A guy that literally has one line. He comes in. I mean, it is a remote location, and I was this is probably gonna be unpaid. Are you okay with that? I was no, I'm only accepting paid work, which I understand.
Yeah.
But
and I've even heard from actors here that they've been in the game here so long that they're only accepting paid work.
Which I get.
Because they're trying to get in their next stage of their life, you know.
It is kind of because I know Dalton. Yeah. I guess name drop him.
Dude, I don't care. We name dropped him. I name dropped Boston.
I'm just talking on behalf of him. Anyways, do you know Dalton Polivka?
Yeah, I do. I went to school with Dalton at Wesleyan.
Do you know the Lions, Carter Lyons, Erica Lyons? His name sound familiar?
They sound familiar, but I don't think I know them
they were
personally.
in the sports world. They were swimmers.
Yeah, Dalton, and I'm friends with his girlfriend Casey as well. They're both out in LA right now, and they look like they're doing really good.
I did a lot of little things with them. I had
I love both those guys.
Yeah,
if you're watching this, I love you guys.
What was I even saying about Dalton?
I don't know, but I'll
because he started talking about he's only accepting paid work right now. Even at his because he can because that kind of stuff is available. If you are looking for paid work, even at his level, you can find that.
I think I saw him on a TikTok ad a while
back.
My
friend literally saw him in a Snapchat ad. That's his main job. He works for an ad company. He just saw him come up on a Snapchat ad. That's wild.
I did some paid work for some stupid little, I shouldn't say stupid, that's mean, but some silly little TikTok videos, where it's they're the ones that they drag you on and on, where it's I did one where it was this military dude surprising his girlfriend at home, but it turns out she's cheating on him.
Typical.
And it's just this horrible slow burn, and we had to improvise all of the dialogue. They're just improvise for 10 minutes, which 10 minutes doesn't sound like a long time. When you say improvise for 10 minutes, that's a long fucking time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been talking for 14, so just take 4 off. I mean, that was all improv. So yeah,
we're talking.
That felt I feel like this had a little more guidance. This was okay, here's the premise, go.
Yeah, so improv is crazy, but yeah. So I gotta ask, obviously, I was curious because obviously looking down, because we sat up at the top at Alamo, but we were I saw all the people there. Was the majority friends, fans, family?
Yeah, I think it was mostly friends and family. I came with my mom, my dad, and my grandma.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Was that the reaction like you felt like going into it, like your expectation? I don't know if you set expectations high, but like
for this one I didn't. Psycho Money, we had more time for planning out that premiere. So I think it had a better turnout of people who maybe like I met a ton of people. I met Jesse Eastman there.
Yeah.
But the single day one kind of surprised me a little bit. Caden and Elbrian planned it a little bit quicker than I would have liked.
Yeah.
I would have liked more time to, watch the rough cut and tweak things. It still turned out awesome.
Yeah.
I think. But, and I would have liked more time, post about it, get people hyped, get people trying to come.
Yeah.
So I think it was mostly, like family and
closer
close
people,
friends. Yeah.
That's cool.
Still good to support,
Yeah, of course. How are you with like once you're I guess how quick can you get over like your own head? Like how critical are you with your own work, I guess is my own question.
I feel like it's split so 50-50. There's, sometimes you can be your harshest critic, I'm like, this is shit, it's no good, no one's gonna read this and like it. Then there's, Young and Menace, when I wrote the first draft of that 4 years ago, I thought it was the shit. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever written. And then I workshopped it in a class and was like ripped a new one. They're like, this, these are people, it was a lower level writing class. So these were people who are still learning some good writing skills. But I was like, how can they say this? And then I read it over and I was like, yeah. It needs help. It needs a lot of help.
Yeah, and something that's
it was humbling.
That's what you need is just kind of like a slap in the face.
That's why I will never produce a first draft. Well, I can't say never because I have produced first drafts. But I prefer not to. I prefer to go
first drafts
through.
are just vomits.
Yeah,
you gotta clean it up.
We've got a friend that's a pretty solid person for a rough draft viewer. Shout out Riley Monty.
Right, but he's a real guy.
He's very real. So like we'll say stuff, and especially me because when I start talking about stuff we want to shoot, I just start dreaming.
Yeah.
And I'm like saying like, dude, let's have the car blow up and let's actually blow it up. But then like so we'll be going through a script and he'll be sitting there and he's like, this is dumb. And I'm like, what? And so then like I think he does it just to make me just to egg us on. But I'm like, well, how's it dumb? And he's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. How did you get from here to here? Mm-hmm. And in my head it makes sense because I know how this character and this character know each other. I'm like, okay, yes, that's true. We got to introduce this or whatever. So it is good to have that. Yeah, because you go into it and you're like, this is pretty good.
I was like,
yeah,
I could sell this to Netflix.
Yeah. But then you look at it and you're like, oh, maybe Rumble will take
maybe
it.
Peacock.
Yeah.
Maybe Peacock. Whoa.
Maybe
Roku
Tubi.
Channel. Tubi.
Yeah. But yeah. What I don't know. What's you said you did spend some time in LA?
Yeah, I went on vacation there for a few days, and I won't shit talk on LA. I'll just say I didn't like it.
Yeah, I get
it's
that.
not everyone's cup of tea.
I didn't know if there was something particular.
I don't know if I fully like it either.
Well, I will say cost of living is high.
Yeah,
gas
that's the thing
prices
that
are
sucks.
high, and you have to drive an hour to get anywhere. So practically, financially, I was like, I could never afford to live there.
Because I've been out there, and then I've also been East Coast, like New York, and then I lived in Chicago. And those cities, to me, I was like, I really love these. Yeah. Because
that's where you were reborn.
I've been to Boston. I really loved Boston.
You did? I want to go there so bad. But
it's so full of history. It's
the
gorgeous.
history is cool. Because that's all very old. Like that established so long ago, and then obviously moved west, right? So like California is like. There's not like because the physical history of it like buildings wise you're like there's not really a lot like there's stuff from like the 40s and 50s like in Hollywood but it's not this building was built in 1842 and it's like so like Empire State Building like I don't know New York has a lot more of a comedy scene I feel like and then like obviously television like Jimmy Fallon's there
and Broadway
Broadway's huge there obviously so. But did you do theater in high school? Was that kind of how you got started in everything?
I started in middle school. I'm a third generation actor because my mom was an actor before me and then her mom was an actor before her. They used to do they're from Ralston. There was the Firehouse Dinner Theater. They used to work there. They
Oh,
used
wow.
to do shows there.
That's
So
pretty
sad
sick.
that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I know. It would be cool if it did.
Yeah. But so I started in like middle school. I did like some community theater stuff. We did a middle school musical or whatever at Russell. And then I really got into theater in high school. My freshman year, I was cast as Agent 99 in Get Smart. And from then on, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that thing times out, so he's got to, because it's a Nikon. But
yeah, I've worked with Nikons.
yeah, not
I like
great.
Canon.
Yeah.
We got one sitting on the table for some reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have
my
3 cameras.
Canon is meant for photography. I've tried to use it for video, but it times out because I don't have a card that like has a fast enough speed to
that makes
catch
sense.
long videos.
That makes sense. So we were talking to Christian so Christian didn't do theater in high school or like really much ever. He did one play, and then I didn't do theater at all. I did stage crew for fun just to mess around, but
Yeah.
so like in one act, but so I don't have that reference point. My reference point has just been like more self-taught stuff, I guess. That
Watching movies.
watching movies and learning like, oh, that's how he
Right.
moves. Let me try that.
Yeah.
So what are some of the positives and then some of the negatives from growing up in theater? Because we talked about film, in theater, you're saying something to the person here and also in the very top.
Yes.
And your facial expressions has to
Yes.
show something. In a movie, in a film, you don't necessarily have to make a facial expression.
And I would say that's one of the things I like better about film is the subtlety that you can use with acting.
Yeah.
I think I feel really blessed that I was able to get into film because as much as I loved theater, I don't think it was my strongest suit. I think from working in film the last couple of years now that film was what I was meant to be doing. As much as I loved stage, I think I succeed more at the subtlety of film, at the smaller acting stuff. But because it's such a tightrope line for me because I have a long and strong theater background and a big personality.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to find that balance.
The balance on them. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we had because we had a friend that he was a big theater guy. He was really good at it. But when we would shoot some film stuff, it was hard for him to turn that off.
Right.
So it just it was very contrasted with how everyone else would act versus how he was. So it was like, it's interesting because some people are built for that. Because I talked about Hugh Jackman being able to play both, and he's really good at both.
He's
but
very trained at, like, again, not, oh, you're ragging on Boston, man. He was in high school, I mean, and like, it's also,
why did you name drop him?
You did the last one already, man.
Yeah.
Did
you do heroin before this? What are you tweaking for?
What? My
All right,
tweak.
keep going, yeah.
I mean, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
What was I done with? Oh, I take credit for not directing him well, but also it worked out for the role because he's playing a weird guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to sound natural,
Right.
so it's fine.
We'll mute the name anyway, so this is just gonna make you seem psychotic and obsessed.
Well, I guess anyways, I think some of the pros to my theater background is like being professional and having a really strong like acting skill set.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of the same rules for theater, for stage, and for film acting. It's just the way that you present them that gets different. And especially since I went to Wesleyan, which they had a really strong theater program when I went there, I think it's a pro because I really pride myself in my work ethic and in my being professional. But it can be challenging because not everyone in the film scene here is like that. Not to like shit on anyone,
right.
But that is kind of the downside of like passion projects. If people are here to have fun, I'm here to like get shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like I said, the cons of like a theater background is knowing where I need to like tone things back a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have, and you don't have to talk about it, I'm just curious, do you have a passion project or something you've done, whether you've already done it, like what's your favorite one, or is there something that like you feel like you've been kind of working on for like 8 years where you're like, I can't wait to do this, like I want to invest all my time in this?
Caden and I, our next project together we've been working on is The Farm. And it's a horror thriller that's inspired by true events of a serial killer. And I have a role in that one that's a character who is struggling with schizophrenia. And so I'm very excited to, meet that challenge of playing a character that has a mental illness that I personally haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
And the complexities of it and playing it accurately. So I'm excited for that. I'm nervous for that challenge, but I'm also very excited. And another reason I'm super passionate about The Farm too is that it's not just your run-of-the-mill horror movie. It's a lot about social commentary, because the story that we have based this on, this true story, the reason they didn't catch the actual serial killer for so long is because his victims were mainly people who were low income, like below the poverty line, people who were homeless, who were prostitutes, who, people that like society didn't care about. And so the police didn't look into their cases, didn't investigate them. And this serial killer killed 49 people.
Wow.
And he was almost caught several times, but the police didn't care enough.
Wow.
And so that part of that story is very important for me to tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be, wow.
Yeah. When you like write, do you set out with like a theme in mind, like something like that, or like ideas you're trying to get across, or do they come up naturally?
So Caden came across this story and had the idea to make a screenplay out of it, I think like a year and a half ago, when we were working on Psycho Money. When we were shooting that. And so then over the summer, we started actually writing that project, and we knew that we wanted that social commentary to be a big part of it when we were crafting our characters, when we were crafting how we were going to tell the story. But it kind of depends, like with Single Day, we really just were trying to set out to tell this story about grief.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really like a social commentary. When Caden and I write, and when I write in general, when I write, it usually stems from characters. When he writes, it usually stems from some kind of idea for a plot or a circumstance. And so I think when him and I come together, we create really awesome stories.
Yeah. It sounds like the perfect pairing.
Yes. And we've known each other since high school.
Nice.
So we go back.
Yeah.
I guess I had a question about A Single Day. Didn't you shoot that like over just a weekend?
We shot the bulk of it in a 4-day span. Caden was on spring break from school, and then Chance and Elbrian and I all asked off work for like 4 days, and we all just stayed in Lincoln.
Dang.
Yeah.
Just grind it out.
And we did. We shot as much as we could, and then all the way up until I think it was like August, just whenever we had time to get together to shoot stuff, we did.
Yeah.
And we came up with new stuff along the way that we wanted to shoot, like the scene where he's dancing in Jean Leahy Mall. That was the last scene that we shot because Caden like had this idea for the scene that he wanted to shoot. And I will say one shot that I'm really, really proud of in that it was my idea to do the shot is when the camera is pointed at a window, like the reflection of him dancing, and I show up and I'm dancing with him, and then it crashes like a brick wall, and onto the next window, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I remember.
I'm so proud of that.
We noticed it. We were like, oh, dang.
I just like that whole like punk rock approach, like get it done by no means, like or every means necessary.
Mm-hmm. Caden is so good at scoring his projects. He does an awesome job with his music.
Wow.
Yes, he picks the perfect songs for pretty much everything that I've seen.
Yeah, that was the whole film was, well, I'll be honest. When I went into it, I thought it was. I saw Psycho Money.
Yeah.
And I thought I got confused with what he said because he had sent me the trailer to it A Single Day, and I hadn't got a chance to watch it. So he goes, so
you were going in blind.
Yeah, he goes, it's the full version of the link I sent you. So I'm thinking Psycho Money. So I was like, full version of that. I was like, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Like there'll be a lot of action.
You're like, how does this tie into the other?
And then so then when we watched the intro, I was like, bro, how does this tie into like?
It doesn't.
I was like, this is so confusing. And then he's like, it's a different thing, and I was like, oh.
Like, so they get the heist foil.
I was like, when do they get the heist? I was like, what's the pictures
heist
for
come
it?
in?
Yeah.
So, is this like their prequel?
Yeah, I was like, I missed
stories?
the part. I must have missed something, but so yeah.
He brought me on to help him write and direct Single Day because he's so good at doing these action sequences and stuff. And he's like, I know you're good at doing drama and characters. Please help me.
Yeah.
That's not what he said.
Please.
But he did bring me on for that reason.
Yeah, that's cool. Between acting and directing and writing and everything, I guess. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite one?
Or do you want to be a triple threat?
Yeah, it's going to be a triple threat.
I mean, I love all of them. I love doing them kind of separately, If I much prefer, I do like having a little bit of a hand in the writing process as an actor. I think it helps me get to know my character
all actors
better.
should be good writers.
Yeah.
They should know when stuff is good, not to touch it,
mm-hmm.
and then when, sometimes it needs help.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I totally think, I'm a better actor because I have writing, directing experience. I'm a better writer because I have directing and acting, and I'm a better director because I have the acting and writing, I think they all inform each other. But in an ideal world for me, if I'm directing, I would like that to be like my sole focus. Yeah. I don't really like having to juggle directing and acting at the same time. But we make it work.
Yeah, make it work.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more then about bartending. What's that like?
What's your process?
What's your process there? Your creative process?
Okay. So I've been a bartender. It'll be 2 years in February. So a little under 2 years. I'm technically actually the bar manager at my work because I bust my ass and I earned it, Yeah. And the restaurant that I work at is actually attached to a movie theater, which is awesome because I get to see free movies.
Yeah, that's
and then
super nice.
we do themed cocktails for some of the movies. So I'm constantly having to come up with new stuff.
Yeah.
I think it keeps the creative muscle in my brain flexing.
You're creating new drinks?
Yes.
That's pretty sick. We're pretty basic when it comes to that stuff, so.
I've gotten really popular at parties since I bartend. Because people, can you mix my drink? Can you make this? Can I have another one? Which I love doing it.
It never stops. Cool. You're always bartending.
Yeah. This guy's always asking for another drink. I'm just kidding. That's cool though.
I won my first cocktail competition back in October.
Oh wow, where was that?
Yes, it was at Site One Brewery.
Okay, I was thinking Miami or something.
No,
like Jamaica, no. Like the movie Cocktail.
Yeah. It was sponsored by Dickel Whiskey, which it's kind of like a Jack Daniel's. It's not a top shelf, but it's akin to like a whiskey.
Yeah.
And I had to come up with 2 cocktails for that, and it was a Halloween themed one. So one of the cocktails I made, I had to dress up like in a costume. And so I dressed mine up as Jack Nicholson from The Shining. Mm. And I had like a prop door that I like stabbed a hole in and glued a little like toy axe to it. I put a little like shirt and jacket on the cocktail glass.
That's cool.
And
was it a Bloody Mary?
No, it was not a Bloody Mary. It was whiskey, yuzu juice, Thai chili infused honey, and elderflower liqueur.
Sounds like something you'd get.
It was. I love the balance of like a sweet heat.
Give me the Jack Torrance.
In food, in a drink. I love that combination.
Would you say give me the Jack Nicholson?
Give me the Jack Torrance. No, his name is in the China.
I called it the Here's Johnny.
The Here's Johnny?
Here's Johnny, yeah.
Here's Andy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you do know Dalton and Casey pretty well then?
Yeah.
Have you had the chance
I've known Casey since high school.
Okay.
Because she went to West Side and they did like an improv bash thing that my school went to. So.
Oh, that's fun.
And then we ended up going to Wesley together, and I met Dalton there too.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to act with them in anything?
No, but I have directed them before for a short film that I did for my first ever film class my sophomore year at Wesleyan. It was.
Does that exist somewhere online?
It's on my YouTube. It's very novice. I shot it on an iPhone with I had a microphone, that I was able to plug into the audio jack, and I had a stabilizer thing that I could put my phone into. So it felt like I was using a camera, and because the only other thing I had was my photography camera, and I didn't think that was the best tool to use for shooting that. Yeah,
that makes sense.
But it was a short scene from a larger screenplay that I had written with an old friend of mine from high school. That we went through 3 different drafts of this screenplay, and we ended up never shooting it, which is okay, It's still in the old file folder.
Yeah. Do you want to do the ad read?
Right.
I'm just kidding.
The ad read.
I did that last time.
Are we getting into the bit?
Oh yeah. Do you want to do that?
I'm not sure what to do.
We'll cut this out if you don't want to do this. It'll flow, but he gives a prompt, and then you just try and act it we don't
know. We don't know if we need to, because you're both. We don't know if you want to do the actor bit or the director bit.
That's true. Because what's the director one?
We give him we'll give you a character still, I guess, and you.
We'll do both.
I don't know if you.
Okay.
We'll do both. That's good.
Oh, okay. For a character to play.
Okay, yeah.
A Boston lady who they got their coffee order wrong at Dunkin'.
Okay.
She's coming back to the order,
coffee wrong order. Okay.
It's my barista.
Yeah, I'll be the barista.
All right.
You're my
Okay,
barista. Okay.
All right.
What's this?
Is your coffee you ordered?
It's not, though. It's not. I ordered an iced vanilla latte with 2 extra shots of espresso. I only see 1 in here. You see that color?
Yeah.
That's not the right color. You only put 1 shot in there. I know my coffee. You did not make my coffee right. Please remake it.
All right. If it's a big deal, I'll grab it.
It is a big deal. And you know what? On top of that, you should give me my money back. This is a waste of time. You made me late for my meeting.
All right. You know what? How about this? How about you just get out of my coffee shop?
Oh.
That's very Boston.
Have you ever heard of customer service?
Listen, we don't got many customers anymore after I started working here, so you might just want to get out of here.
Yeah. You know what? Let me talk to a manager.
Oh, you want to see? This is my manager right here.
That's your manager?
Hi. Yeah, is there a problem here?
Yes, there is a problem. This young man made my coffee wrong, and when I asked him to remake it, he refused. I asked for a refund. He refused.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him money back.
You got to quit yelling at the customers. I told you.
He did. He yelled at me. You can check the cameras. He yelled at me.
This is my uncle Sweet Lou, by the way.
Listen, Vinny.
Sweet Lou.
I got more things to take care of in the back. Take care of it.
Take care of it. All right, I'll do it my way then.
What do you mean? Take care of it.
Take care of it. I get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty good. Yeah, I just figured, East Coast people, they're always rude, so.
I feel like there's no Karen
there's no customer service in the East Coast, so.
I honestly, if someone ever made my drink wrong, I don't think I could ever tell them. I would just sit and silently suffer and pretend I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's what I write about. I wrote a script off of that idea.
Yeah, I love the pace I love the pace on the East Coast, because when I visited New York, we went to a Starbucks, and there was obvious tourists went up, and they're in line, and they stood there, and then they looked up at the menu, and then the person behind the register leans over to the next person in line and said, "Do you know what you want?" And then they go, "Yeah."
Oh my God.
And they would look so confused.
Oh my God. I mean, you know what? Okay.
If you're 5 people back, you gotta know what you want.
I can relate to that a little bit. If it's a Friday night and I am sweating my ass off trying to run a bar, and I come up and ask you what you want to drink, and you don't know, I'm walking away. I'm going to serve someone else.
Do you guys...
wait, no, what's in this drink? Well, if you would read off the menu, it says that this is in this drink.
Yeah, especially if they're drunk.
Listen, man.
Listen, you gotta figure it out.
I can only help you so much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help 20 other people right now.
That's this guy.
I don't know what to order. I never know what to order.
He's always asking what's in. I'm just kidding. No. So another question I had was what's one of your favorite movies that you either draw inspiration from or kind of just inspires you in general?
Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro. I love that movie so much. I watched it for the first time in my first ever film class in college, and I absolutely fell in love. It's gorgeous. Like, it's shot beautifully, and the story is so cool, and I love his kind of theme in his work of making man the real monster rather than these spooky, like, creatures, these otherworldly creatures. But my favorite thing about that movie that I would like to try and channel more in my work is this, like, fantasy versus reality line that he walks. Because every time I watch that movie, I'm on a different side of it. Yeah. Whether I believe it was all in her head or that it was all real.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't even think of that. I think, good movies for inspiration is definitely one that you can watch, and every time you get something new.
Yes.
Because my favorite movie is, I've got like 4 copies of it, but it's Goodfellas.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like every time I watch it, I either forget something or it just makes me excited again just about writing, something we're writing.
Yeah.
And it's just like you pick something new every time in the movie, and I'm like, oh, this is so good. Or I'm like, man, this is like kind of cheesy. Like, because we were talking about how some of Scorsese's violence in his movies is like not done really well, and you're like, ooh, for a budget, you kind of botched this.
Well, like, because we've seen it like 10 times, and you're like, dang, he didn't make any like contact with his face at all.
Yeah.
He completely missed him, and you're like, this is. That's
odd. Like in the original Star Wars. I think it was Return of the Jedi. It's whatever one where they're on Tatooine and they're on, Jabba's little like sand cruising ship.
Yeah.
I saw a slow-mo clip of when Luke Skywalker goes and he like kicks someone in the face, but he's like his foot is like a foot away from this guy's like I was like, how did I never notice that?
Yeah, that's back when you're a kid, you're like, man, that was crazy, and you get older, you're
oh
like,
my god,
not even close. It's so far off.
I mean,
use the Force.
As old as those movies are, I still love them with my whole heart. They're so good.
Yeah, they are so good. So everybody's got a different way that they get into the method of writing. So obviously you write. Andrew writes. He writes a lot of stuff, and he's pretty good at it.
You want to team up?
Yeah, team up. I've only ever written when I was younger, I would do stuff in high school, whatever. It would be like a stupid little script, like do this, and it was like funny, but
yeah.
This, like, I've only ever written one thing, so this is more a question for you guys. But how do you get into the mindset to write? Because like because you said you just listen to Paramore. Or
Fall Out Boy, but I do listen to Paramore as well.
You listen to Paramore. So like you listen to music while you're doing it.
Yes. So I create a playlist
to
help me get in the mindset. And even when I still listen to Fall Out Boy now, all I think about is that screenplay.
Yeah, I listen to music. I don't know anything particular. It's like it's weird because it doesn't really sometimes pertain to like the subject matter. Like I'll be listening to like happy-go-lucky music while I'm writing like dark stuff, or like the opposite way around.
That's interesting.
Just like I've heard like like James Gunn or somebody like big people, like they say they don't listen to music at all. They're completely quiet. I'm like, how? Like I have to have like something going. Like
he sent me a piece the other day, and there's like a scene or whatever, and then there's a really like morbid like murder. It's like kind of a horror thing, and then he's like, this is the song I want playing in it, and like the guy's dancing to it, and he sends me the song, and I was like, this is up. Like I was like, this song is like super like happy and like,
oh my god.
And I was like, this is weird. But then I was
sometimes that's kind of cool.
Yeah, because I was like, dude,
it's a strange juxtaposition.
Yeah, so like if people saw it, they'd be like, this is psychotic.
Yes,
and so they're set up for the movie where they're like,
yes.
they know what to expect.
Like, the bit was just a funeral procession with Barbara Ann by the beach.
Well, that's the second part.
Well, okay.
I'm talking about the hanging.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, like so there's the funeral procession. And they're playing Barbara Ann in it. He wants to play Barbara Ann.
Like Harold and Maude vibes,
Okay.
It's just like,
even though it's not really like my style. I don't know.
No.
Do you think you have a style? Is it a thing?
Or a style?
For you, like, because I don't think I have like I don't find myself in a niche. It's like a lot of people like try to like, you want to pin down like being in a certain genre. Like I write whatever I want. Like, and it can be anything.
I don't really know why, but I'm just really drawn to emotional stuff. I think part of it is, writing comedy is challenging.
It's very hard.
It is, because you can't force stuff to be funny.
Yeah.
And something that could be funny to you could fall flat with someone else.
Yeah.
And I'm just really fascinated. I'm fascinated with psychology and with like human emotion. And I love it when a movie makes me cry. I love it. I love it when I see an actor's performance or something about a film that just like tugs at my heartstrings, it just brings out that emotion, and that's what I want to be able to do to other people is with my work,
What was the last movie that did that to you?
I think most recently I rewatched The Duchess, which is a historical drama starring Keira Knightley, and the ending gets me every time. I always actually. This is a little fun fact about Single Day. When I was recording the voicemail that Caden's character listens to, I recorded it right after I watched The Duchess.
Oh, wow.
Because I was already crying.
Yeah.
Another movie that makes me cry is, what's the new Disney movie about the casita, the house,
Encanto.
Yeah, Encanto. That one makes me cry. I don't know why I couldn't.
I guess just have its sad moments.
The butterfly song that the grandma sings.
Oh.
It gets
I'm crying when
tear-jerking.
when Bruno, they can't find him.
Yeah.
No, they can't say his name. That's the bit, right? I'm like, come on.
Yeah, Encanto makes me cry. So honestly, sometimes I save away like clips like that. So if I do need to cry,
that's a good idea.
Just rewatch it.
Yeah.
How about you? What makes you cry?
Huh? What makes me cry? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
When someone gets your coffee order wrong.
Yeah, when people get my coffee order wrong. No, I probably. It's been a while. I've been in a funk, honestly, with like perspective of things. But I know for the longest time, it was any time in a movie when like any character would get like betrayed. Like it always just made me really emotional because I was just like, wow, like that's like that's like someone dying can be bad, like a family member or like
or a dog.
Yeah, because we know that happens, or like a breakup, or like we know that's a part of life. But like betrayal is like that's like such a choice, and it seems more outside the natural. Like obviously, like certain things are gonna happen, but
Swap mags.
oh, that's all right. But yeah, so.
You guys keep going.
But yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of what other movies have made me cry. Pan's Labyrinth makes me cry too.
Really?
Yeah, the ending, it's a little bit of sad tears and a little bit of happy tears. It depends on, whether I think that it was all real or it was all in her head.
Yeah. Have you seen Shutter Island?
No, I haven't.
It's kind of a similar thing. Yeah. Where at the end, you're like, wait, was he in on that, or is like is he actually psychotic and like?
I love stuff that like mind fucks me,
Yeah, I get that. Have you ever? You said you were doing like that 8-episode deal or whatever.
Nervous Wrecker.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever like dreamt of? Because right now, I mean, obviously the stuff that we've done has just been film. But have you ever been like? Because I don't know. Sometimes I watch shows like a Seinfeld or a Friends, and I'm like, that's really cool. Like, have you thought about trying your hand at that ever? Like doing like we're gonna do like a season of like 18 episodes, short, like 20 minute, telling a story.
Honestly, actually, I almost said no, and then I remembered I worked as a lifeguard for like 5 years, and I have so many stories. I actually have a tab on in the notes in my phone. I have one really long page. See if I can find it.
Oh, so you would make a show of
stories from.
Dang.
Oh wow.
Working at a public pool.
Holy cow. So yeah,
like so weird things that my coworkers have done, or weird things that guests have done.
So you could make a whole show about it.
Yes, I would love to make something like The Office, but it's at a pool.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool.
Yeah.
What's up?
What the method acting?
Oh, How would you define method acting? Because people have different.
Yeah, I think because I studied method acting in school, like the original method acting.
Stanislavski.
And people have just twisted it in such a wrong way that I think what the common public would define as method acting is incorrect. And actual method acting is a solid process to follow when approaching playing a character. Yeah, that's my general opinion on it.
What do you think is the best setups like for method acting? Like, what do you think is the best? Because obviously, yeah, everybody changes it, and everybody's like, I could probably name 1,000 people, not actually, but like where they're like, if you were to ask them, they'd like actors in like say LA, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good. I could method act pretty good. But it's like, do they know what it is? Like, so what would you say?
Yeah, and that's where, you know, I'm super grateful for my theater background because we studied the original book on like method acting that's by David Ball and it was co-written. I can't remember the other one, but I think what's most important to acting is doing your homework. You know, like going through your script and writing notes about your character's motivation and, you know, like, what's my cue? Why do I say this? You know, just doing all of the homework, doing all the prep work. And then when it comes time to go and act and play the character, just be in the moment, you know? Have all of that knowledge, all of that homework that you did in the back of your mind, but just let yourself be this character.
You do all that prep work, much prep work. Just you can the
prep work for me helps me create an inner monologue, so that when I'm playing my character, I'm like thinking like the character in their brain. You know. Yeah,
that's something we've kind of talked about. Was like, and I told him the other day when I called him. Because we're shooting a feature in the summer, and one of the character I play is kind of baby, like it's my baby or whatever you say. Like the whole film is, but like when I was talking to him, I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna like really get into this as much as I can, like get the accent down, and then just all this stuff. But it's like between cuts.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. But like between cuts, like I want to be staying there. Like I don't want to keep breaking in and out of it. I was like, I want to be consistent through the whole thing and playing myself as if I'm playing myself in a movie.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like you're playing, like if your character is Steve, you're like, I want to be Steve.
Right.
As Steve in the movie. So. But
I will say it's really important, you know, and this is where people get method acting twisted, is that you can't stay that character. You can't. Like, I mean, you look at Jared Leto playing the Joker. It was, everything about that was bad. And it's because at the end of the day, you have to know you are not that person.
Yeah.
You are yourself. And it's a real true testament of like self-identity and knowing yourself and just.
What if the actor doesn't know themselves?
Then that's a problem.
Or
that's where, you know, and I've run into issues where I, you know, played a romantic interest, and the guy, we got really lucky that me and the guy actor had awesome chemistry on camera, but he'd never acted before. And so after like filming Wrapped, he was getting like feelings confused and stuff, you know, and I think he couldn't, you know, put that barrier between his character and himself and what they were
real.
feeling. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the danger of acting, of, you know, going too far with that method.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some people, I think there's different headspaces too, like back to where you're like, okay, I'm going to go back to zero. Like I think some people are like, oh, I want to get into this character, and they let the whole film in general just become that, like you're saying with this guy, it's like he was just like he let his actual physical emotions play into acting, which you have to do, or like psychological emotions, you have to do to an extent, but it's like, oh, you can't actually fall in love with this person. Yeah. Because then it's like, oh, then it becomes like, and then it's almost harder to act because you're like, oh, I don't want to say this because that's not how I feel.
At least we got through filming before it started. I was like, okay. I thought he just wanted to like be friends after filming Rav, but
yeah, we haven't had to run into that too much yet. But I I mean, there's guys that we'll film with that want to be our friends and hang out with us, but
What?
they get connected in that way. They're like, we want to be friends with you guys, and we're like, no, you're under us.
Just
Whoa.
No, we haven't run into the problem you've had with that, but we also haven't done that.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Huh?
Let's speak for yourself.
Dang, dude. You got that? What's up? Oh, yeah, but okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that other question you had? This might be our first part where we have to edit.
I don't.
Huge jump cut.
Yeah.
I don't have another question.
We all should change chairs. And
Yeah, they're like, all right, yeah, so anyway. Whoa.
just keep talking like normal.
All right, dude. Dang, that actually flew
Yeah.
by.
It did.
Yeah, maybe we've come to our natural end here.
Yeah, we have.
So I guess I did have, my closing. What you got going on this weekend?
Yeah, that's his closing question.
Yeah, so this weekend, it's the opening weekend for Avatar, so the
nice.
restaurant is super busy. I have not seen it yet because I've been working, so other people can see it.
Yeah. I'm gonna see it
I made a
Sunday.
really cool cocktail for it.
Is it blue?
It is blue.
Wow, good guess.
It's plum brandy, amaretto, which is like a sweet almond liqueur, lemon juice, and a homemade raspberry syrup.
Is it called the Jake Sully?
No, it's called the Between
theory?
the Seas, which is a riff on a different brandy cocktail called Between the Sheets.
Ooh.
I was really proud of that one.
Yeah, that is good. That sheet life, you know?
The sea life.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Well, cool,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, thanks for obviously coming on. And
Yep.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I love podcasts.
yeah, they're fun.
They are fun.
Yeah, hopefully the endeavors that you were setting out on will be successful. I'd love to see
Yeah.
Omaha change up and become more.
Yeah, become the next Hollywood.
Can you imagine?
We may
It's
not see
crazy.
it in our lifetime, but I would be content having laid the groundwork for
Yeah,
it.
that would be very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
We'd have our own Omaha Walk of Fame,
Yeah.
and all of our names will be on corn husks.
Yeah, a mural of
Yeah.
you guys. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Well,
Or
cool,
another
yeah.
Mount Rushmore, but it's just our faces.
Just
yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
me again. Woo.
Bless.
To all my ladies out there.